Nilipatwa na ujauzito, ilikuwa mwaka wa 2014. Nilibeba tu mimba vizuri kwa miezi 9. Hatimaye vile siku zilifika, ingawaje nilipitisha masiku, ambapo nilipelekwa Moi Referral Hospital, Mother and Baby. Kufika huko ikabidi nafaa niende operation. Nilipelekwa operation. Alafu baada ya kwenda hiyo surgery ikaonekana mtoto amekufia kwa tumbo. Ndio nikaoperatiwa, nikashonwa, nikawa discharged. Nikaenda home. Kufika nyumbani immediately after 3 days nikawa tuna leakage ya mkojo. Just yenyewe tu inatoka bila control. Alafu mamangu kuona hivyo akaniambia itabidi urudi wapi? Urudi hospitali. Waende waone shida imekuwa nini. Sasa kurudi huko hospitali tena nikarudi referral. Hiyo mwezi wa 11 2014 nikarudi huko. Kurudi huko ikabidi nikaongea na daktari. Daktari akanieleza kwamba inafaa nirudi another surgery. Waone nini mbaya na leakage ya mkojo inatokania wapi. Sasa kurudishwa theater ikaonekana bladder ilikuwa imefinyika na haiwezi hold mkojo for a long time. Ikabidi tena sasa itolewe, bladder itolewe. Sasa vile bladder ilitolewa, that was second surgery. Ile bladder ilitolewa nikakaa tena referral hiyo the whole of November 2014. Kukaa huko ikabidi this whereby Dr. Mabea akakuja kunionea huko. Ndio akanirifaa wapi? Gynocare Hospital. Hata kufika huko akaniangalia vizuri, akasema nimedevelop nini? Fistula. By that time sikuwa nimejua fistula ni nini. Akasema itabidi uende another surgery. Nikakubali. Dr. Mabea kanifanyia surgery na ilibidi kwe 2 surgeries ya urine na hiyo ya choo. Zote sasa zilikuwa zimeanza kuliki pamoja. Akanifanyia surgery ya kwanza ilikuwa 2015 March. Hiyo ya urine ya choo. Akaniambia nirudi nyumbani for another 3 months. Jua wangefanya surgery zote at once. Nikarudi nikakaa nyumbani for 3 months. Nikarudi mwezi wa 7 July hiyo 2015. Yani ilifaa warudishe sasa wa reverse colostomy. Ndio wafanye diversion. Nikakuja hapa ambapo Dr. Mabea alinisaidia. Akanisaidia nikafanya surgery yote na nikawa completely nimepona. Akani discharge nikaenda nyumbani. After kwenda nyumbani nikakaa about 3 months. Ambapo tena the director kanipigia simu akaniambia inafaa ukuje at least ufanye nini? Urudi shuleni. Ambapo tulikuwa tumeongea na yeye akaniambia utarudi shuleni na mimi nikakubali juu nilikuwa nimefika form 4 na sikuwa na otherwise ya pesa ya kuendelea mbeleni. Nikakuja wakaniingisha Eldoret Polytechnic penye nilianzia certificate in social work and community development. Nikafanya hiyo 2016, 2017 and 2018 hapo. Nikakuja graduate hapo na certificate level. Ambapo tena wakaniuliza kama naweza endelea na masomo. Nikakubali. Walinipeleka hapa Eldoret Technical Institute ambapo nafanya sai diploma in social work. Alafu tena wakanipea hapa kazi ambapo vile mlisikia daktari akiongea kwamba mimi ni assistant wake. Sasa hii niko hapa nafanya kazi na nashukuru kwa kazi yao nzuri yenye wamenipatia. Na tena nashukuru tena vile niko hivi, naishi kwa nyumba yangu ambapo I'm able to pay rent, I'm able to help my mother, and I'm happy of that. Na nilipona kabisa. I've never seen such a situation in my life, and I thank Dr. Mabea.
Nini ilikuinspire kama kufanya social work?
Sasa hata mimi sikuwa najua social work ni nini. Hata vile tulikuwa tunaongea tu na madam, mimi nikamwambia tu social work. Ndio akakubali. Nikaenda hapo poli. Lakini sasa kufika hapo ndio nikaona what social work is.
Unaona kwa hiyo future venye unaweza saidia wanawake wengine ama hata watu kwa society?
Nimeona vile tunaweza saidiana. Unaweza pata wengine wako na different challenges, but we will interact with them. We try to help each other.
Hiyo 2014 venye hizi shida yote ilianza, how old were you?
I was 27 years old. Ambapo walisema singeweza ku deliver normal, ilifaa tu nipitie surgery juu ya njia ya mtoto ilikuwa ndogo. Sasa hangeweza kupita. Sasa ikabidi tu niende hiyo surgery, and due to hiyo delay ndio ikafanya tena mtoto nini kwa tumbo.
Na unaweza ambia nini wanawake wengine huko nje ambao wanapitia mashida kama haya?
Ndio, kuna watu wengi wenye shida kama hiyo huku nje, lakini hawajui kwamba kuna Gynocare hospital. Kuna wale wenye wanapitia hapa, wanaona hiyo yenye wamekuja hapa, wameona hiyo mabadiliko yao, wanaenda huko nje kutangaza, na hatimaye tunapata wagonjwa wa aina hiyo, na wanakuja hapa wanasaidiwa na wanaona mabadiliko kubwa sana.
Wakati huu ulipopitia shida, ulikuwa na hisia gani?
Juu ya hiyo kuliki kwa urine, singeweza kukaa mbele ya watu, singeweza hata kupita nje ya gate ama kwenda kwa sherehe yoyote, juu nilikuwa just indoors. The family members ndio walini accept juu waliona situation yangu, but maybe to attend certain festivals ama kwenda pahali, it was difficult. Nikashindwa sasa shida imetokea wapi, na hata sikuwa nimejua fistula ni nini. Hata nyumbani hawakuwa wamejua fistula ni nini. Nimekuja kujulia tu fistula hapa Gynocare na hizo consequences zake.
Na sasa hizo uko sawa kabisa?
Sasa niko sawa. Tangu nitoke hiyo ward 2015 up to now, I've never seen that situation. Lakini I'm happy, although siwezi beba mimba. Nini ilitolewa, the uterus, after your surgery. The first surgery yenye nilienda hawakuwa wamegundua. Sasa walitoa tu mtoto alafu wakashona. Sasa kwenda hiyo surgery ya pili ndio akapata blood ilikuwa imefinyika. Sasa ingeweza hold, ndio ikaletanga hiyo leakage ya mkojo. Lakini saa hii nashukuru Mungu. At least hata kama naweza kaa peke yangu, I can support myself as well as my mother at home. Saa zingine hata tunaongeanga hapo na madam, saa zingine Linana nisaidia, we share ideas with them. Alafu naona at least maisha inabadilika. Lakini nashukuru Mungu. Although that situation it was very bad, sikuwa najua I can reach at this time.
Kuna wanawake wengi huko nje ambao wamepitia situations kama hii, lakini they don't come out of it alive. They attempt suicide, wengine wana succeed, wengine wana succeed, wengine wanakuwa mentally unstable out of it. Wewe umekuwa na watu wenye wamekusurround. Unaweza ambia nini society? Wa support such women, wa support.
Wako na hiyo problems, juu kuna wengi ndio wako na hizo. Lakini wakikuja hapa Gynocare watasaidiwa, and they will have a great change towards their life. Nawaambia kwamba wakipatana na watu kama hao, wawakubali, ingawaje fistula iko na tiba. Ingawaje wenye wako huku nje hawajui kwamba fistula iko na matibabu. Pengine wanaona ni kama laana, Wengine wanaona ni kama sijui kurogwa, lakini sio hivyo. Wawakubali, lakini wakikuja hapa Gynocare wataona matibabu makubwa sana na maisha itabadilika. So wakiwa nao wasiwakatae, wawakubali.
The reintegration program is actually a program that supports fistula survivors. So once they have come to the hospital for treatment, usually we receive them, then they go through the normal screening. Then we also realize that there are people who have really gone through a lot of challenges, like a lot of stigma, stress, and also isolation in their homes. So what we do, we have to incorporate counseling as a process of healing treatment. So while they're in the ward, we do a lot of counseling for them. And then from the counseling sessions, we are able to establish what the needs of this woman is. We're able to establish really what challenges they've been facing. And so our reintegration program kind of now steps in to help identify these needs and see how we can really step in to assist. Because we can heal the physical, but if the mental and the psychosocial is not yet well catered for, then I think we are not helping this person fully. So that's why we have that reintegration program also working hand in hand with the treatment and the other services that we offer at Gynocare. Apart from counseling, I told you that that's really the initial stage of identifying the need of the woman. Then after that, we are able to identify the need. Then we decide at that level what this person would require after discharge. So we have different categories like of programs that we have in the reintegration projects that we have. Like we have the school program where we identify the younger girls who would be willing to return to school after they are well or after recovery from the surgery. Then we also have the business training programs where we try to empower those that may not have the chance to go to a formal school, but they would want to start something like a business. Yeah. So that also we have that program for them. And then we also have the agriculture program, like where we bring in experts to at least train them on various methods of doing what? Of farming. And then recently we had the Kiondo program where we train women how to weave baskets. And then after that, we at that level we identify where this particular client would fall. But we involve them because you cannot force somebody to get into something they are not interested. So they're the ones who really show what interests or what their interests would be among the different categories that we have. Then that's now how we bring them in, we enroll them. But this is usually like after they are fully recovered, because after treatment, like 2 weeks in the ward, they are released to go back home. Like we give them a period of 1 month or 2. Then that's how we get now to involve them in these activities that I've just mentioned. And we have had very many women really benefit from the programs, and we have seen good results out of it, and we are motivated to continue supporting as many as possible. Yeah, so, and I'm happy also to report that some of the girls who have gone through the reintegration are staff at the hospital, because they were able to go to school, go to college, and then they were finally hired, which is for me is a success story for them. The reintegration program is usually sponsored by some well-wishers who donate to support these women in one way or another. So we put aside those kind of funds to at least empower, like the agriculture women, give them something small where they can go and maybe lease land if they don't have, and start doing some agriculture projects. Or if they have a small piece of land at home, they can buy seed, they can buy fertilizer with the little money we give them to support themselves. And yeah, that's how we are able to support, so that it's not like you're just giving skills and you're letting the woman go empty-handed. There's always a small token. Yeah, like we've even had to buy fertilizer for some of them and seed during the planting season. Yeah, so that's really how we do with the agriculture. With the business also, training group, we are able to give them that small capital, because the woman will decide what they want to do. If it's selling vegetables, for example, or doing what, raising chicken, yeah, they tell us what could be their capital. Then we agree, this is really what we can give you. Start with this. With the basic skills they have learned, it's easy. It's easy for them to progress with the little we have, so that it can build more out of it. We have been doing follow-ups, and it's not like we hold these trainings once. We can even have them come back just for refresher, and also we've had follow-up where we have people, okay, like, they're from all over the country, and in these areas there are some people who are called regional representatives, who are based in these areas, because they are the same regional representatives that identified them in the first place and referred them to Gynocare, because they had the information. So we use these regional representatives sometimes to reach out to these women, just to see how they are doing. Just recently, we are also carrying out something like a research, just to establish what's the magnitude of, or what is the level of support, how has this support really impacted their lives. And I'm happy that it's been positive. So yeah, we don't just release women and say, bye, we don't know, no, we don't want you anymore. No, we really keep following up and doing research, and also keeping in touch with some of them. Yeah. It really limits a patient or an individual from doing what they normally do. Like, it's difficult for this kind of person to engage in the community or in the society fully. Like, they struggle to work because of the smell and the frequent leaking, and some of them have to be separated from their families and even divorced, for example. Some have lost their children as a result. The trauma is bad, and for anybody going through that challenge for maybe that period of time, because some have suffered for many years, it will eventually have to affect the person mentally. So psychologically they struggle to cope with their condition. And also remember, most of them really have no means to seek treatment in the first place, so they kind of become hopeless. So you want to, someone just suffer alone, and eventually they get into depression sometimes because of the challenges that come with it. So when they come to the hospital, yeah, that need is very high, because you'll always just see someone struggling. People are withdrawn, they don't want to talk about their situation anymore. And so we notice that fistula goes hand in hand with the psychological challenges of life, mental issues. I have one particular case of a woman who comes from West Pokot. This lady had fistula, I think during her childbirth or somewhere. She has several children, yes, but she was so isolated from her family that even her husband abandoned her. Her own siblings didn't want to see her at all, so she was left to just, She was actually chased out of her home. So she was left to wander, like out there and do nothing for herself. And eventually it really affected her psychologically. But a good Samaritan noticed that she was leaking and referred her to a hospital. She was given support to come to, actually she went to the local hospital at West Pokot, Kapenguria somewhere, and then those people knew that we do fistula repair, so they referred her to Gynocare. But when she came, we noticed there was a big problem because she already had that mental breakdown already, and so it was difficult to tame her, to control her, and even to do what we needed to do to help her. So we noticed it was more of really where she had come from and what she was struggling with. So we had to seek the intervention of a psychiatrist first of all, so that she could be at least assisted. Then she comes to terms with a lot of counseling. Then eventually now she was a bit calmer, and that takes a long time also. Like she had to spend several weeks in the hospital before the actual treatment took place. Then eventually she was a bit calmer, and then treatment was initiated. But then even after that treatment and after having stayed in the hospital for that period of time, we had to discharge her somehow because she needed to leave the hospital. But when she went back again, she had a relapse, because you're going back to the same environment that didn't like you in the first place. So again, she just had to bring herself, because now she knew the way. So she kept coming several times like that, like go, come, even when there was no need of treatment. So I noticed that, that's really a big challenge to these women sometimes. But with the continuous psychiatric treatment and intervention that we were offering her here, it really assisted her so much that she ended up now having something like, she ended up being, raising herself to a level where she could now appreciate who she really was. And so it was easy for us now to come in with our reintegration to see what we can do for her, and also connect her with her family and request them to at least accept her back, like now she's well, and then she can take care of herself. So I'm happy to report that it's been 6 months now. We have not seen her back, so we know that it is well. With this particular case, it was difficult. Actually, we struggled with the social work team to get any member who would be willing to get involved in the life of this woman. So it was hard. Even her own children were not ready. The people who were maybe coming in were now like these regional representatives that I'm talking about, that would reach out and see what they could do. But they couldn't do much because they didn't have the capacity. But where we find a family member or other family members that are willing to journey with these women, we engage them. But I can tell you they are not very many. Because even while they are in the ward, we don't see any visitors coming in to help or to even visit. They are on their own to the end. You understand? And sometimes if you ask, is there someone we can reach out to, some will even tell you there's no need, because they really don't care. So that's where our challenge is with this particular group of women. But the few that have this kind of support, family support here, we always make sure that we advise them to help us with at least providing that family support that they need. The younger group is different. Like if you notice, we also have those that develop fistula as a result of other issues. The younger group is different. At least those you will find the mother is standing by, the father is there, because it was a young minor person. But the older group, they are on their own really most of the time. For the people out there, I would wish that they understood and appreciated that fistula is there. and it's really not a very easy condition. It's a condition that can happen to anybody, just that some people get help quickly, others suffer with it for long. So if in case they meet such similar cases, or anyone leaking urine or stool for some reason, and they are not able to help themselves, let them please try to reach out and connect them. That's my call. Government, these are poor women really who have no means of getting help from health facilities until they are supported. So if the government can waive, like NHIF for example, it should be kind of free for this group, because they are not able to afford even paying NHIF cover for themselves. If they had it, they would be in the hospital like 20 years ago or 15 years ago, but they didn't have anyone to help. So if we are able to have a kit for this kind of group, we can even consider them special group, where if you can't be able to raise funds for NHIF, then can you be given a special cover? The people who suffer the most are the ones from the marginalized communities, the areas like Pokot, West Pokot area, Baringo, Samburu, and Masai. Yeah, those women suffer because you notice when they are here, the fistula has caused a lot of trauma in the first place, for example, because their injuries are usually like very severe. Because of the cultural issues of FGM, where a woman is supposed to, after FGM, they are meant to get married immediately. So this girl is not fully developed, yeah? And at childbirth, the injuries of that particular woman will be more severe than perhaps someone who was in that level at that stage of childbearing and they were strong enough to do what was needed. So when that happens at that age, for example, early age, you will find that this child is really cast out, and cast out like for good, because the treatment and the process of recovery takes a long time. And then you notice now, even after that, chances of getting back to their normal and also even getting more babies like they could have expected become very limited or narrower. So this contributes a lot to the stigma that comes up.